Welcome FPL managers, I'm your FPL plug for all things FPL, and in today's video we're going to be talking about an actually decent week this week, even though we didn't have Cole Palmer in the team, what my transfers are for game week 7, an attacking wildcard team, and also some fixtures that are going to be turning after game week 7. And if you do get to the end of the video and have really enjoyed it and found something useful, then do make sure to hit that subscribe button because it does help out content creators just like myself. But firstly, let's have a look at the team and how we did in game week 6. We didn't use that wild card, we used the 4 free transfers and we actually got a green arrow of 300,000. And that means we're up to 451,000th in the world. Now, that may not seem like the best number ever, and it's definitely not, but it definitely isn't too bad for the start of the season. There's some work to do yet with that 500k to get down to the aim of 20k. But to be honest, we are on a really, really good path now, especially saving that wild card. But wow, it was a really, really big week for everyone that I didn't expect it to be a big week for. Obviously, I expected Haaland to do well. That's why I captained him. He only got 2 points. Then I expected the double Arsenal defence to do well, getting 1 point each. But we got a Josko Vardiol goal, a Pedro Porro clean sheet, a Mo Salah goal, a Semenyo goal, a Rodgers goal, an Mbeumo goal, and a Solanke goal. So you cannot complain of those returns whatsoever. I think from this week, we can definitely tell that Rodgers is now becoming the asset that we all thought he was going to be at the start of the season. So I'm very happy with him in my team at the moment. Dominic Solanke looks good, still getting really good XG in that Spurs team, and hopefully he can go on to do more. And Mbeumo is basically an essential pick right now, even if you're not on a wild card. But yes, we definitely are missing a big player, aka Cole Palmer, and also Bukayo Saka, because we do have the likes of Mohamed Salah. However, I think Salah is still going to be good for one more week against Crystal Palace, and I'll let you know in the wild card my plans that they would be for getting Cole Palmer and Bukayo Saka into my team. However, let's firstly look at the transfers that I'm most likely going to do going into game week 7 if I do any transfers at all. So I've got 1 free transfer, and the most likely option for me is to go from Robinson. I can sell him for 4.6 million and move on to Rico Lewis, who I can buy for 4.7 million. So I think Rico Lewis, as we'll explain later on, has an amazing fixture run now. And with him playing basically in that midfield role with Kyle Walker being back at right back, he's basically essential for me. Their fixtures crossed with him being a midfielder for one of the best, if not the best team right now in the Premier League, basically makes him not even a choice. You need to go for him. But let's have a bit of a deeper look into Man City's fixtures and talk about why I think he is so essential for your team right now, especially at that 4.7 million mark. So as you can see on screen here, his next game in game week 7 is against Fulham. Then they've got in game week 8 Wolves, then Southampton, then Bournemouth in game week 10, then Brighton in game week 11 and Spurs in game week 12. And that is just the next 6 fixtures. They are probably the best fixture run you're ever going to get out of a player on FPL, especially a player that counts as a defender, but is playing in midfield for, again, the best team in the league. He's just got an assist in the Champions League as I'm recording this right now. I think he is just absolutely essential. Now, one caveat I will make to this is that Gvardiol is also an exceptional FPL asset, as we've seen this week, because if Kyle Walker is playing that right back role and Rico Lewis isn't, then Gvardiol will be very advanced. And as we saw yesterday or last weekend, he was basically playing like a left winger. He was always in the box. He had a few really good chances and also obviously scored that goal. So if Walker is the right back, Gvardiol probably is a better asset than Rico Lewis. But if Rico Lewis is that right back, then he's a better asset because he's the one that's going to be pushing forwards. But even with Walker as a right back, Rico Lewis is still playing in that midfield role and will be getting chances. So having both of them, I think, is what I'm going to personally do, and also I think just a great option in general. But we've talked enough about my team. Let's have a look now at my attacking wildcard team. So there's going to be loads of different wildcards that you see if you are on a Game Week 7 wildcard. And if you are, I would definitely go and check out FPL Raptors videos in the coming days. Obviously, you know who FPL Raptor is if you're watching this video now. And by the way, if you've stuck around this long, thank you very much. But he's currently on a wildcard, so do go check him out. But this is what the team would be that I would go for if I wanted a really attacking minded wildcard. You can definitely downgrade some of the players to make it a bit more sort of balanced and overall a lot better. But if you want all the attacking players, then this is the team that you want. So in goal, we've got Flecken and Fabianski. So Fabianski, you actually got the budget to then upgrade to someone that you could maybe rotate with Flecken if you wanted to do that. Just get a 4.5 million goalkeeper. And then Gabriel, Mikolenko, Vandenberg, Lewis and Van der Ven. So Van der Ven's probably the biggest sort of compromise in this team. And the defence in general is quite compromised because obviously if Rico Lewis, for instance, is dropped, which I don't think will happen, but if he is, then this defence does look really, really weak. But most of the time, I'd just be playing Gabriel, Van der Ven and Rico Lewis. Van der Ven looks like he's pushing up quite a lot at the moment and also has some good aerial attacking threat on those corners. So not the worst pick in my opinion. He's not ideal by any means. You'd probably rather someone like Pedro Porro. But Van der Ven's fixtures are really, really nice. So you keep those three in defence and then you could go for Palmer, Rogers, Semenyo, Mbeumo and Saka. Probably the absolute ideal midfield in my opinion. Yes, Cole Palmer doesn't have an ideal run of fixtures in the next two with Nottingham Forest and Liverpool, but you never know what Cole Palmer's going to do. He did it against Brighton, he could do it against one of those two. But then you do have Newcastle and Man United, so you get those fixtures before the Arsenal game that most people probably won't have if they don't already own Cole Palmer. Then obviously Bukayo Saka's got a really good fixture in this game week and the next. Semenyo, the same, he's got a good fixture in this game week and then it gets a bit harder. And Mbeumo, like I mentioned, basically essential in a team, especially a wildcard team. And then Rogers looked really, really good for the price that if you got him at the start, brilliant. But if you can get him now, I think he's still a great price. And then finally, coming onto the forward line, I think this is where you get the most value in that attacking wildcard sort of area. If you're going for an attacking wildcard, I've got Solanke, Haaland and also Wood in this team. So once Semenyo gets his bad fixture, really good fixture out of the way, you can then bench him and just play Chris Wood because Chris Wood's looking really good on penalties at the moment. And honestly, this team looks really, really nice to me. Arsenal's fixtures are running out, so maybe double Arsenal defence isn't absolutely essential. Yes, it'd be nice for the next two, but if you're wildcarding now, you might not want to do that. So I think this wildcard team is really, really nice personally. And you can just play around with a few players if you'd like to downgrade them and upgrade the defence. And then finally, I don't have the clean sheet odds today because I'm filming this a little bit earlier on in the week than I normally do. But my team for Game Week 7, as you can see here, we've got Raya in goal, Gabriel, very happy with those two. Gvardiol, also very happy with him. Pedro Porro, then Mo Salah, and Mbeumo, Rogers, Semenyo, Smith Rowe. However, Smith Rowe would be dropped if I did make the Robinson to Lewis move and I'd play Lewis, Pedro Porro, Gvardiol and Gabriel and then obviously drop Smith Rowe to the bench against Man City. And then I've got my captain's armband on Haaland versus Fulham and Solanke comes in as well. I think captaincy for me is quite tight between Salah and Haaland. However, if you did have Saka as well, I think that Saka deserves a shout this week. He's been looking really, really good and probably slightly unlucky to get a bigger haul than he has. However, with Saka, we do tend to see that he gets consistent points, but not very many hauls like a Palmer or a Salah or a Haaland usually do. So personally, I'd be sticking with Haaland. Even though he did blank last week, I think he's just going to be the best player for our teams to captain. And if you're still here at the end of the video, thank you very much and drop me a comment down below if you do have any questions. I'll try and answer as many as I can. I am a little bit busy this week. I'm going to the Liverpool game against Bologna for the Champions League. But thank you very much for watching the whole video and I hope to see you next week.